It's the start of another Premier League season, 26-27. How the fuck have we got here, boys? And we're going to do a little video for some predictions so it can be used against me at some point during the season to tell me I do not know anything about football and I'm basically talking shit. So without further ado, let's just get straight stuck into it, and we're going to start, of course, on the bottom. Just for the ladies. Right, so we'll start off obviously at the relegation zone and we'll work our way up towards the table. Now, when I first did write my predictions, I've changed a few based on what's been going on in the last few days in the footballing world. So let's go. For relegation, I don't think there's going to be any surprise, and I don't think I'm coming out with anything original here, but I'm going to go for the three promoted teams to go straight back down. I don't think Ipswich and Hull have a chance. If I'm totally honest, their teams just look too weak. Ipswich, obviously, with Gary O'Neill, who doesn't have a great record in the Premiership, and I just think they're not going to have enough to sustain a challenge over a full Premier League season. Coventry, I am tipping to go down. However, they probably do have the best chance out of all the promoted teams to stay up. They've invested quite well, and within Frank Lampard, they've obviously got a Premier League manager with Premier League experience and an absolute legend of the Premier League. So could that spur them on, give them that little bit extra to stay up? I don't think so. So my tips for relegation are Coventry in 18th, Ipswich in 19th, and Hull in 20th. Sorry if you support any of those teams. Now, this is where it gets slightly more interesting. I did have Forest in 17th and Crystal Palace in 16th. And now last time I made a prediction of Nottingham Forest finishing 17th, they finished up in the top 7, I think it was. Whatever season, they done really well. That was the season I put a prediction out there about Forest, and it came back to bite me on my ass. But I'm going Crystal Palace in 17th and I'm going Nottingham Forest in 16th. And I'll tell you why. So for Palace, losing Glasner and losing Lacroix is just two big major losses for them. So I think they're going to really struggle here, and this might be the season that they're dragged into a relegation zone battle. And then 16th, I'm going for Nottingham Forest. Now, Glasner is obviously the manager of Nottingham Forest now, but I don't think they've made enough signings, and they've lost Elliot Anderson to sustain a good challenge in the Premier League. But I think they'll be okay. I don't think they'll actually be dragged into a relegation fight, but I think they'll be around that 15th, 16th spot. Right. That's the relegation out of the way. Now let's go on. Mid-table is always hard to predict because you're just predicting one single position when that team can actually finish anywhere within the middle of the table. But I'm going to try my best. 15th, I'm going for Sunderland. I just think with the added pressure of European football and that first season bounce that they had, they might find it a little bit more difficult this season. In 14th, originally I had Leeds, but I'm going to flip that for Newcastle. Lost Tonali, lost Guimaraes, lost Anthony Gordon. Got some decent players for the future coming in, but at the moment, with the loss of Eddie Howe as well, it might just be a step too far, so I can see them finishing around 14th. In 13th, I'm going for Leeds. I think they've made some very good additions, actually. So Harry Wilson in particular has been a really good signing. James Trafford will really add experience and a bit of class at the back, but I can see Leeds finishing 13th. Originally, again, I had Fulham 12th, Everton 11th and Brentford 10th, but I'm going to flip that. I'm going to flip Fulham for Brentford. So I'm actually going for Brentford in 12th. I think they'll just be solid. Let's not write them off. We did write them off last season, and look what they done to us. They unearthed a Brazilian from nowhere. And I'm going for Everton in 11th. They've made some very good signings. If Moyes can get a few more signings in, maybe they might bump up. But I'm going for Fulham in 10th. I think with Arbeloa, they've got a decent manager. I know it's only a small sample size that we have to go by, but I just think that Arbeloa is going to do well with them. And signing Palacios and Gonzalo Garcia from Real Madrid is an absolute coup. And I'm really, really interested to see how Garcia will do in the Premier League, because I think he's made for it. He's big, he's strong, he's quick, he can hold up the ball, he's good in the air, he's got good finishing. I think he's going to be quite a revelation this season. In 9th, I've gone for Bournemouth. I can switch them 8th or 9th, to be honest. I've got 9th Bournemouth and 8th Brighton, just because I think with Bournemouth, they've retained their players, which is the biggest thing, because obviously the last few years they've had a history of losing their main players, but they've maintained them, but they do have a new coach. So we'll see. And obviously the injury to Kruppi has not helped, but I am looking forward to seeing their new centre-forward signing, a really good player for Elche last season. And then I'm going for Brighton in 8th. I just think solid team. They'll do exactly what they've always been doing. And now their manager is, I think he's into their 3rd season in the Premier League. So he's now got that experience. He can now push them forward. I'll go for Brighton in 8th. Now we're getting into the real meat and potatoes. We've got the obviously Europa and Conference League finishing places, and then the Champions League to champions. So 5th, 6th and 7th, I think, is going to be fought out between Tottenham, Aston Villa, and unfortunately, sorry if you are a Liverpool fan, but I think it's going to be Liverpool, unless they make some absolute signings over the next few weeks before the transfer window ends. I just can't see them having the team that is required to, first of all, compete in the Champions League and compete in the league highly. So I'm going for Aston Villa to finish in 7th, Tottenham absolutely rejuvenated under De Zerbi with the new signings. They've got Tonali, they've got Fernandes, they've got Robertson, they've got Senesi. Yeah, just some great signings there. And De Zerbi is a really good manager. So I can see them finishing 6th. And then in 5th, I've gone for Liverpool. That takes me to 4th place, which I've actually gone for, and this is going to be a surprise, I've gone for Manchester City in 4th place. And it's not just the Guardiola factor, it's also the fact of Rodri leaving, Bernardo Silva leaving, John Stones leaving. I don't think you people realise how much of a gap that leaves in your team, not only from a pitch point of view, but just from the overall chemistry and the overall experience in the team. They're not going to have that to draw upon in matches when they really need it. So I'm actually going for a Man City 4th finish. In 3rd place, I am going for Manchester United. Solid, unspectacular. How are they going to perform with European football in the mix? I think they'll be all right, because I don't think they'll make it far in the Champions League. So I think they'll still be able to give their all to the Premier League towards the latter end of the season. I'd say a lack of signings might come back to bite them, especially after they've lost Casemiro and Ugarte is out for a considerable amount of time. But we shall see. I have them in 3rd. In 2nd place, only playing once a week, no distraction. We're going for Xabi Alonso's Chelsea. I think they're going to be right up there. But I just think Rodgers, Palmer, and João Pedro up front with Neto on the right just gives them such a good team. So I'm going for Xabi Alonso's Chelsea to finish 2nd. And the reason why I didn't do tense build up, because I just think Arsenal are going to run away with the league this season. They're the only settled team within the traditional top 6. It took them that long to get over the line. They've now got that off their back, so they can be a little bit more free. The only thing that I can imagine affecting Arsenal is how much emphasis they want to put on winning the Champions League. I feel like they really want that title to be in, the same echelons as the other clubs are spoken about. Your Man United, your Manchester Cities, your Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, your Barcelonas. So I don't know whether their push for a Champions League win might become so much that they take their eye off the ball of the league a little bit. And also you run the risk of complacency. We're going into the season, you're absolutely, and I don't care, you might say it quietly in your bedroom with the doors closed, but this is a good season to catch everyone off guard. All the teams are kind of in a rebuild phase, all the big teams. Even Man United, I know Carrick's been there for half a season, but he didn't have the level of intensity that he will have now with the Champions League introduced. So there's my prediction, guys. Arsenal to win it, the promoted 3 to go down, a bunch of teams in the middle, and Liverpool to finish outside the Champions League places. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you are liking the content, I'm going to try to upload as frequent as possible during the Premier League season. Please drop me a like and a follow, and until next time, catch you soon.